We are taught to revere it as a sacred text, a charter of liberty, but what if the Constitution is not what we think it is? What if its true purpose was far more commercial and far more sinister? This is the secret of constitutional contracts. The hidden truth is that the Constitution was never intended to grant rights to the people. It was designed as a corporate business plan for a new commercial venture controlled by a select few. Its primary function was to establish a powerful, centralized military government, not to protect the people, but to protect the assets and interests of its creators, the Founding Fathers, the kings of commerce. In this model, the American people were designated as the assets, the human resources to be managed. To achieve this, the original Constitution was subverted and converted into a cestui que vie trust, an ancient legal concept for administering the assets of those declared lost, dead, or incompetent. Through this conversion, everything was quietly transferred into this trust. All the land, all private property, our future labor, and most shockingly, our very physical bodies. We were declared legally dead and made the collateral for the national debt. So, who are the parties to this monumental trust? The answer is key. The donor who created the trust is none other than the King of England. This seems impossible after a war for independence, but the war was never about true freedom. It was about restructuring debt. The 1783 Treaty of Paris didn't grant sovereignty. It acknowledged the United States as a corporate entity, beholden to the Crown's financial empire. The king, representing these banking interests, became the grantor of the new American trust. The trustees, the managers of this estate, are all federal and state public officials. When they take an oath of office, they swear a fiduciary duty to the trust, not the people. Their job is to manage the assets, that's us, for the benefit of the beneficiary, the Crown's banking system. All profits, the taxes collected from your labor, flow back to them. This is why the U.S. Constitution is a contract between the federal government and the states. We the people are not a party to it. We are the subject matter. The Founding Fathers, acting as the original board of directors, pledged America's most valuable asset to the international bankers who financed their nation. That asset was you. They promised our labor, our equity, and our full faith and credit for all time. But how can they promise something that belongs to a living man or woman? They can't, so they created a legal loophole, the straw man. This is the fictitious you. Look at your driver's license, your social security card, your court summons. Notice your name in all capital letters. This is not you, the living being of flesh and blood. This is the name of your straw man, a corporate entity created without your knowledge when your birth certificate was registered with the state and turned into a bond. This legal person is what the government and the banks contract with. It is the debtor, the taxpayer, the U.S. citizen. As living men and women, we exist under natural law. But the moment we identify as that all-caps name, we volunteer to enter their commercial world and agree to be bound by their contractual constitution. It was written to control our legal double. The mechanism for this perpetual servitude is written in plain sight. Article 1, Section 8 grants Congress the power to borrow money on the credit of the United States. But what is the credit of the United States? It is the taxable income and future labor of its citizens, the strawmen. This clause gives the corporate government a blank check to borrow limitlessly from international bankers, knowing the debt is secured by the energy of the American people forever. Every loan is thus enforceable against us, the sureties for the corporate debt. We are born into a debt we never agreed to. But what if the assets, the people, refuse to comply? The contract has a provision for that. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 15 gives Congress the power to provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union. Notice the first job listed, to execute the laws. This isn't about defense, it's about enforcement. And who is this militia today? It is the police and the National Guard, the internal security force of the corporation, tasked with enforcing its commercial statutes and codes. The Constitution gives Congress complete power over this militia, ensuring the enforcement arm serves the central government and its creditors. So let's define our terms. What is a constitution in this context? It is simply a contract that operates in the realm of international commerce and admiralty law, the law of banking and trade. It is not a people thing. It is a corporate charter. And what is a constitutor? The term comes from Roman law. A constitutor is one who agrees to pay the debt of another. The Founding Fathers were the constitutors. They transferred the debt of their new government onto someone else, future generations of Americans bound through their strawman identities. This legal framework explains a shocking reality of the American justice system. A foundational principle of law states, "No private person has a right to complain by suit in court on the grounds of a breach of the Constitution. The living soul is not part to it." The living soul, the real you, is not a party to the contract. Therefore you have no standing to sue for a breach of it. You cannot claim constitutional rights in their courts because, according to their own rules, those rights don't belong to you. They belong to the parties of the contract. To understand how this came to be, we must look back to the real cause of the American Revolution. It wasn't just taxation without representation, it was a war over money. The king in the golden crown is a symbol for the real power. The international bankers of the City of London who controlled the world's gold supply. In the mid-1700s, the American colonies were thriving because they issued their own debt-free currency called colonial scrip. This honest money created incredible prosperity and was a direct threat to the bankers' global monopoly. They could not control this scrip. So, through Parliament, they struck back. They outlawed colonial scrip and demanded all taxes be paid in gold coin, a commodity they controlled and the colonies lacked. This plunged the colonies into a massive depression. Benjamin Franklin stated this was the primary reason for the war. The colonists fought to free themselves from the bankers, but while they won the military battle, they lost the financial war. The bankers' agents, like Alexander Hamilton, ensured the new United States would be shackled to a new central bank and a new national debt, all enshrined in the legal language of their new constitution.